Ice. Ice is House Stark's ancestral great sword, a massive two-handed Valyrian steel blade used for executions and battlefield command. Valyrian steel is a pre-doom alloy forged with lost spells and extreme heat. It yields a blade that is lighter for its size, exceptionally hard, and able to hold a razor edge. A great sword's long blade and grip provide leverage for fight-ending cuts and control in binds. It is less agile in tight spaces than a longsword, but decisive on foot in open ranks. Ice was forged in Valyria centuries before the Doom and passed from Stark to Stark as a symbol of northern justice. Stark lords followed the custom that the ruler who passes sentence should swing the sword. Eddard Stark demonstrates this in both book and series when he executes a deserter of the Night's Watch. The blade's dark, rippled surface marks it as true Valyrian steel. After Eddard's arrest in King's Landing, Sir Elend Payne uses ice to behead him at King Joffrey's command, converting a Stark badge of justice into an instrument of Lannister terror. Lord Tywin Lannister then has the sword melted and reforged by the master armorer Tobho Mott. The metal from ice becomes two longswords, Oathkeeper and Widow's Wail, ending ice as a single object while propagating its legacy into multiple storylines. Functionally, this converts one two-handed blade into two more versatile weapons without losing Valyrian properties, and symbolically it disperses Stark authority into rival hands. Longclaw. Longclaw is a Valyrian steel bastard sword, longer than a standard longsword, but handier than a greatsword. Usable in one or two hands. As Valyrian steel, it is unusually light for its length, extremely hard, and keeps a thin, keen edge that resists rolling even after repeated contact with armor. The bastard sword geometry balances reach, cutting power, and control for mixed fighting on foot. Longclaw is the ancestral sword of House Mormont of Bear Island. It passes through Mormont lords for generations, until Lord Commander Jorah Mormont brings it to the wall. After Jon Snow saves Jorah from a white attack, Jorah formally presents Longclaw to Jon. The bear head pommel is replaced with a white direwolf to reflect Jon's Stark ties. Known wielders include Jorah Mormont, briefly in book backstory, and Jon Snow. In the HBO series at Hardhome, Jon's stroke with Longclaw shatters a White Walker on contact, empirically confirming Valyrian steel's anti-walker property. In the books, Jon employs Longclaw against wildlings, mutineers, and wights, using its balance for quick transitions between cuts, thrusts, and half-sword techniques. Longclaw's edge and stiffness let it bite at joints and gaps where ordinary steel skates or dulls. Its weight distribution supports point control for accurate thrusts, which matters in armor fights and in close quarters around keeps, palisades, and the terrain beyond the wall. Oathkeeper. Oathkeeper is a Valyrian steel longsword, one-hand dominant with room for two-hand leverage, reforged from a portion of ice. Valyrian steel's lost tech metallurgy yields a dark, rippled blade that is lighter, harder, and more resilient than castle-forged steel, enabling aggressive parries and repeated hard contacts without rapid edge loss. On Tywin Lannister's order, Tobho Mott melts ice and produces two longswords. Jaime Lannister receives one. The blade's red and black ripples are an artifact of the tempering and cosmetic finish, and visually link Stark steel to Lannister colors. Jaime gifts the weapon to Brienne of Tarth because he can no longer fight effectively after losing his sword hand. He names it Oathkeeper to bind it to Brienne's vow to protect the Stark daughters. In book canon, Brienne wields it across the Riverlands against the Bloody Mummers. In the series, she carries it while safeguarding Sansa, and later fights the undead. As Valyrian steel, Oathkeeper is one of the few materials that can destroy White Walkers on contact while outperforming common steel against armor. Its longsword proportions favor fast cuts, precise thrusts into gaps, and firm control in binds, aligning the blade's craft, endurance, sharpness, with its narrative purpose, keeping sworn promises. Widow's Wail. Widow's Wail is a Valyrian steel longsword forged from the other portion of ice. As Valyrian steel, it is light for length, very hard, and holds a razor edge, with a characteristic dark, rippled surface. A longsword's format supports one-hand use with a shield or two-hand leverage for control and power. Tobho Mott forges two swords from ice. The second is presented by Tywin to King Joffrey as a royal gift. Joffrey names it Widow's Wail during the wedding festivities. In books, it passes to King Tommen after Joffrey's death. In the series, Jaime later carries it, returning one half of ice to active field use. The blade serves as a practical sidearm and a symbol of royal authority. While the series does not depict Widow's Wail shattering a walker, its Valyrian composition implies the same lethality observed with other such blades. Widow's Wail exploits armor weak points without rapid edge degradation and remains controllable at speed, making it suitable for courtly duels and battlefield command. Politically, it reframes Stark steel as a Lannister-Baratheon emblem, illustrating how possession of a named Valyrian blade shifts symbolic capital in Westeros. Heartsbane. Heartsbane is House Tarly's ancestral Valyrian steel greatsword. Two-handed length and mass designed for open-rank infantry fighting and gate defenses. As Valyrian steel, it is lighter for size, yet exceptionally hard, and edge-retentive, enabling fight-ending cuts and strong binds against polearms without chipping. For roughly 5 centuries, the sword passes from Tarly Lord to heir at Horn Hill. In book canon, Lord Randall Tarly bears it on campaign and intends it for his heir Dickon. In the HBO series, Samwell Tarly removes Heartsbane from Horn Hill, later handing it to Sir Jorah Mormont before the Battle of Winterfell. Jorah wields it until his death, after which it returns to Allied custody. In books, Randall's reputation as a strict, effective commander is reinforced by his carriage of Heartsbane during Crownlands and Riverlands operations. In the show, placing the sword with Jorah converts a family heirloom into a frontline anti-undead asset precisely when Valyrian steel is tactically decisive. The great sword's reach and mass amplify the alloy's advantages, allowing lethal cuts through resistant targets and authoritative control in binds. The trade-off is handling. Effective use demands strength and technique, and adequate space to swing. Blackfire. Blackfire is a Valyrian steel greatsword born by Aegon I Targaryen during the conquest. As a greatsword, it trades close-quarters agility for reach and leverage. As Valyrian steel, it is lighter for size, very hard, and holds a keen edge through repeated steel-on-steel contacts. After the conquest, Blackfire operates as a regnal emblem. The king who sits the Iron Throne traditionally bears it in war and ceremony. The sword thus serves as both weapon and portable certificate of Targaryen sovereignty. King Aegon IV knights his bastard son Daemon Waters and gifts him Blackfire. Daemon takes the name Daemon Blackfire, and because the conqueror's sword is read as a sign of kingship, the grant transforms favor into a rival claim. Daemon rises in rebellion, 1960 AC, against King Daeron II. He dies at Redgrass Field, and Igor Bittersteel Rivers escapes with the sword to Essos, founding the Golden Company. Blackfire thereafter passes among Blackfire pretenders and vanishes from Westerosi records. Beyond superior cutting performance, Blackfire's value is political. Possession signals a bid for the Iron Throne. The blade functions as concentrated legitimacy, making its custody line a cause and effect of civil war. Dark Sister. Dark Sister is a Valyrian steel longsword, slimmer and handier than a greatsword, optimized for speed, precision, and one-hand use with optional two-hand leverage. As Valyrian steel, it is lighter, harder, and more edge-retentive than common steel, with a stiff spine for accurate thrusts into small targets. Dark Sister is the second Targaryen ancestral blade, paired with Blackfire. It is associated with Queen Visenya Targaryen during and after the conquest. After her, it passes through royal hands including Maegor I, Prince Balon, and Prince Daemon Targaryen, then to Prince Aemon, the Dragon Knight, and finally to Lord Commander Brynden, Bloodraven Rivers. Bloodraven takes it to the wall and vanishes beyond. Its whereabouts are unknown in current book canon. Where Blackfire is ceremony and heavy battlefield authority, Dark Sister is the practical warblade of aggressive princes and champions. The longsword format suits fast cuts and thrusts through visor slits, armpits, and other gaps, leveraging Valyrian stiffness and edge quality to defeat armor at weak points. Dark Sister projects Targaryen martial presence without the crown's ceremonial weight, making it a recurring marker of personal prowess and a coveted relic whose loss leaves a gap in royal symbolism. Dawn. Dawn is the ancestral sword of House Dane of Starfall. It is not Valyrian steel. House tradition says it was forged from the heart of a fallen star, producing a pale, almost luminous blade described as milk glass, bright. In handling, it behaves like a long, two-handable sword with exceptional balance and keenness. Only a knight styled the Sword of the Morning may wield it. When no Dane is deemed worthy, Dawn remains at Starfall. The title Sword of the Morning passes to worthy Dane knights across generations. The most famous modern bearer is Sir Arthur Dane of the Kingsguard, who carries Dawn at the Tower of Joy. After his death, Eddard Stark returns the sword to Starfall, maintaining the rule that the weapon is a house charge, not a spoil. Though not Valyrian, Dawn is consistently described as equal to the best blades in sharpness and strength, with a unique pale sheen that distinguishes it from dark rippled Valyrian steel. The restricted custodianship converts the sword into a credential of personal merit. Only a proven champion may draw it, which limits its appearance to rare, elite contexts and explains its mythic reputation. Dawn's legend and formal rules elevate the bearer beyond ordinary knighthood. The weapon's return to Starfall after Arthur Dayne's death underscores the Dayne ethos that the sword serves the title, not the individual. Lightbringer. Lightbringer, the red sword of heroes, is a legendary blade from the prophecy of Azor Ahai. In-world descriptions say the true sword burned with living fire, was warm in the hand, and could boil blood, properties that originate in sacrifice and miracle rather than metallurgy. The core tale states that Azor Ahai twice forged and failed a sword. On the third attempt, he tempered the blade by driving it through his wife Nisa's heart, and her spirit infused the steel. The legend positions Lightbringer as the decisive countermeasure to the Long Night and beings of cold. In the books, Melisandre proclaims Stannis Baratheon the reborn hero and produces a glowing, heat-radiant sword she calls Lightbringer. Characters doubt its authenticity, noting it lacks the destructive heat the myth promises. In the HBO series, ceremonial flaming swords appear. Stannis's, Beric Dondarrion's, but none are confirmed as the prophesied artifact. If genuine, Lightbringer would combine cutting ability with constant flame and unique anti-other efficacy beyond Valyrian steel or dragonglass. Because creation is tied to ultimate sacrifice, duplication by craft is impossible. Any true reappearance would be singular and politically transformative. Lady Forlorn. Lady Forlorn is House Corbray's Valyrian steel longsword. As Valyrian steel, it is light for length, very hard, and able to hold a razor edge after repeated steel-on-steel contact. The longsword format favors quick cuts, precise thrusts into armor gaps, and firm control in binds. Descriptions note a prominent red gemstone in the pommel and the characteristic dark, rippled blade. For centuries, Lady Forlorn passes from Corbray Lord to heir, functioning as both battlefield weapon and house badge. Its persistent physical identity, a single blade across generations, concentrates prestige and deterrence in one object, often displayed at tourneys, musters, and councils. The most famous modern bearer is Sir Lyn Corbray, who kills Prince Lewin Martell of the Kingsguard at the Battle of the Trident during Robert's Rebellion. That act cements the sword's reputation as a Kingsguard killing weapon and elevates Lyn's political weight in the Vale. Against armor, Lady Forlorn's stiffness and edge allow effective attacks at joints and mail gaps where common steel fails. Psychologically, its notoriety shapes enemy behavior before blades cross. Fighters recognize the weapon and the fighter behind it, which can shift initiative and morale. Bright Roar. Bright Roar is a Valyrian steel greatsword historically borne by the kings and lords of House Lannister. As a greatsword, it is designed for two-hand use, delivering reach, leverage, and armor-defeating cuts. As Valyrian steel, it remains comparatively light for its size, extremely hard, and sharply edged after prolonged fighting. Acquired at enormous cost before the Doom, Bright Roar serves as both battlefield asset and dynastic emblem in the Westerlands. Its public presence signals sovereignty. Its wartime carriage by the house's champion or ruler reinforces Lannister authority. King Tommen II Lannister sails to the ruins of Valyria with Bright Roar and never returns. The fleet, the king, and the sword vanish. Later, Lannisters, most notably Garyon, seek a replacement, or the lost blade, and fail. The house thus enters the modern era uniquely deprived of a named Valyrian heirloom. Bright Roar would have combined great sword power with Valyrian edge retention for decisive cuts and binds, but its absence matters more. It reduces Lannister's symbolic capital relative to peers with visible Valyrian blades, and denies their commanders a proven anti-walker material should that threat arise. The loss exemplifies how a single weapon can alter a great house's posture in war and politics. You've seen the blades, but what about the hands that carried them? The next chapter isn't about steel. It's about blood, heritage, and identity. Join me as we uncover every race and cultural group that makes Westeros the world we know. Click on the video on your screen now.